welcome back to the Yogi Blair YouTube channel. Today we'll be providing a basic power flow for you today. And if you're a little newer to yoga, don't let the word power scare you off just yet. I really just interpret power yoga to be centered around the physical practice of yoga. You may already know that there are 8 limbs of yoga, and these 8 things create a full yoga practice. Only one of those limbs is the physical poses or asanas. So I like to center this class around those physical poses, really feeling strength and feeling powerful here, using a lot of warrior poses to incorporate that strength, feeling rooted and grounded, and of course moving quickly like you would in any other flow or vinyasa class. So you may work up a sweat here, but that's perfectly fine. And a lot of people think that power yoga is for the advanced people and you're doing a lot of crazy poses that you might not be up to doing yet. That being said, if you are an advanced student, don't let the word basic deter you from taking this practice today. I think that for the advanced people, all of our advanced postures, the arm balances, the inversions, these all come from our basic postures, and I think it's important to return to the basics once in a while. So with that being said, proper attire for this class is going to be anything that you feel comfortable moving quickly in, going from your chaturangas to down dog to standing. So I personally don't like to have any sort of sleeve. I don't like short sleeves. I don't like anything in the way of me moving my hands. I don't like anything too flowy up top, because when I'm going from chaturanga, cobra to down dog for my vinyasa, I don't like it when my shirt is dangling in my face and there's all this fabric everywhere. I like form-fitted clothing that allows me to move freely, quickly. So with that being said, you can also alter this class a little bit. You can repeat these things as quickly as you want to create your own 60-minute practice at home. You can take a space heater and put it in the room to create a hot yoga studio right in your home. So there are lots of options here, lots of things you can do. Let's get started. I'm going to straighten out my mat here. We got a tripod for me to record, so now I don't have to prop my phone up on my shelf. The next thing we're going to be doing in here for my studio is getting hard floors so that my mat won't bubble like that. So let's get started in Tadasana today. Since we're doing a class that really focuses on the physical aspect of yoga, a lot of those postures are standing postures. We're going to focus on the foundation of all standing postures first, which is mountain pose or Tadasana. So I like to start my Tadasanas from the ground up, working my way up to the top. So the first thing to think of is our feet. And for Tadasana, mountain pose, we want to make sure that our feet are hip width apart. So a lot of people take that as the outside of your hips and they step out a little too far here. This doesn't give you the best stance. Hip width is from your hip bone, creating a straight line down, stacking the hips over the knees, over the ankles. Now another way that you can figure this out is taking 2 fists, putting them together, and seeing if your hands fit between your feet. That's a general rule of thumb. It may or may not work for you, but just have a general idea of where the feet should go. That's about it right there. So once we find our proper stance, we want to make sure that we're grounding into all 4 corners of the feet. Lifting the toes. Maybe you spread them wide, putting them back on the mat, really feeling the surface area you have to work with increase as you spread the toes wide. Making sure that we feel grounded, engaging the arches of the feet. It almost feels like the feet are grabbing onto the mat. And then from here we engage the calves. We engage the thighs. You'll feel the kneecaps lift as the thighs engage here. Slight tuck to the pelvis. We want the arch of our lumbar spine to be straight. Stacking the spine through the thoracic spine and the cervical spine nice and long, maybe tucking the chin to elongate the cervical spine of the neck here. Rolling the scapula down the back, shoulders fall back. And in mountain pose, the hands face forward. Maybe you bring the hands to Samasthiti at heart center. And if and when you feel ready, you can close the eyes, beginning to center here. First, bringing your awareness outside of the building that you're in, whether it's your home or an office. Noticing any sounds. Allowing all of those sounds to fall away, bringing your awareness to your home or the building that you're in. Noticing that building as a whole. Maybe you hear sounds in another room. Maybe there's a meeting going on next to you. Maybe there's someone watching TV in the other room. Maybe you can hear the sound of the washer and dryer, or the sound of a refrigerator making ice. And allowing all of those sounds to fall away, just bringing your awareness to the room that you're in, letting everything else go. Noticing the four walls, the ceiling, the floor. Maybe visualizing the sights that you saw before closing your eyes. The color of the paint, the floor or carpet. Noticing any sounds you hear in this room, whether you have on music, maybe a fan, or just noticing the sound of my voice. Noticing any smells. Maybe you're burning a candle, or you have oil diffusing, or incense burning. And noticing the temperature on your skin, the feeling of your clothing on your skin. And then allowing everything in the room to fall away, bringing your awareness inward. Noticing the physical body, the energetic body, the mind. Acknowledging any thoughts that you brought with you or emotions today. Acknowledging them as valid, with compassion, and just setting them aside for the next few moments for your practice. Coming to the breath, using the breath as your guide throughout your practice, letting that be your sole focus. And if you like to practice with Ujjayi breath, you can tap into that now. And after your next exhale, we'll bring the hands down if they're at heart center. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhaling, hands to heart center. If you like to practice with an intention, you can set one now. A word, phrase, or mantra. Sealing it in at heart center. Let's bring those hands beside us again. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Knowing that intention's there whenever you need it. Let's inhale again, lifting the arms up overhead. Let's interlace the fingers, maybe releasing the pointer and finger and thumb. And let's just exhale, leaning to the right. Maybe we take that gaze under the left arm, lifting the gaze slightly towards the ceiling. Seeing if you can lean a little more. Inhaling up through center. Exhale, leaning to the other side. Inhaling up through center. Exhale, let's bring those hands down, interlacing them behind the back. Opening the chest first, lifting the gaze on the inhale. Exhale, hinging forward at the hip, keeping the feet and the legs exactly as they were in our mountain pose. Now we're just letting gravity do the work for us, folding us over, making sure that our weight didn't dump back into the heels here. Really wringing out those shoulders. Let the head be heavy. Releasing the hands to the mat for our forward fold. Remembering that in Uttanasana, we want to fold with a flat back. Letting gravity do the work. We don't want to arch the back just for the sake of getting the face to the knees. And then we'll inhale, finding a half lift. Just lifting the torso, keeping the back flat. Elongating through the cervical spine here. Exhale, fold. Let's inhale, reaching the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. I'm going to meet you at the top of the mat here. And we're going to move through some sun salutations. So we'll inhale, lifting the arms up overhead. Gaze can follow the hands. Exhale, flat back as we fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back to plank. Holding in our plank here, making sure that our shoulders are over our wrists, our fingertips are spread nice and wide. Sending energy through those heels. Hugging the belly button into the spine. We're going to move through our first vinyasa or flow here, coming forward onto the toes, hugging the elbows in. Exhale, lower in one piece. Inhale, tops of the feet on the mat. Lifting the heart for a little baby cobra. Keeping the elbows bent. Exhale. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Now using the opposite foot that you stepped with last time, inhale, look forward, stepping your way to the top of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rooting through the feet, reaching to rise, maybe adding a little back bend here. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, flat back as we fold, Uttanasana. Inhaling, Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. Exhale, fold, planting the hands, stepping back to plank. Lowering Chaturanga. Inhaling, Cobra. Maybe getting a little more of a back bend now. And exhaling, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Now, if you'd like, you can start hopping to the top of the mat and hopping back. For that, we inhale, looking forward at the hands, bending the knees here. We use the inhale to lift us forward, trying to straighten the legs as we get some air time, landing softly. So inhale, bending the knees and look forward. Use the inhale. Land softly. Exhale, fold. With time, you might be able to land with straight legs. Inhale, half lift here. Exhale, folding in. Root the feet. Inhale to rise, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, Uttanasana. Inhaling, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant the hands if you're hopping back, bending the knees, using the exhale to send you back. Landing with bent elbows and lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, maybe Cobra or Up Dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And exhaling, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's do one more. Inhale, looking forward, making your way to the top of the mat. Exhale to fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaching the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, making your way. Chaturanga. Inhaling, Cobra or Up Dog. And exhaling, Downward Facing Dog. Let's inhale, lifting the right leg, keeping the hips square, sending that left heel to the mat. We'll find our way, bringing that right foot in the center of the hands. Spinning that back foot so it's at a 45-degree angle for Warrior One. Exhale here. Inhale, rise. Keeping the hips square. Not letting them fall off to either side. Inhale here. Exhale, bringing the hands behind. Opening the chest on the inhale. Exhale, humble warrior. Don't dump the weight of the torso onto the thigh here. Now let's exhale, bringing those hands down, framing the foot. Inhale, straightening the leg, half lift. Exhale, fold, pyramid. From here, bending the knee on the exhale. Inhaling, rising up, warrior one. Let's bring the hands to heart center, coming onto the ball of the left foot. Inhale, exhale, taking off, finding warrior three. Virabhadrasana 3. Flexing through that back foot. Inhale, setting that foot back down, coming onto the ball of the foot for high lunge. And exhale, float the palms to the mat. Sweep that leg back. You can move through a three-legged flow or a regular flow, or you can skip your flow altogether. Meeting in down dog. And then we'll inhale, lifting the left leg. Exhale, sending it through. Spinning that back foot to a 45-degree angle, making sure the base is steady before we inhale to rise. Sinking into that front knee, stacking the knee over the ankle, making sure our back leg is straight and strong. Bringing the hands behind us, interlacing. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, finding your humble warrior. Releasing the hands to the mat on the exhale. Inhale, let's straighten that leg. Half lift. Exhale, folding over, Parsvottanasana or pyramid. You may want to shorten your stance here. You may want to put a little bend in that front knee if the hamstring feels shaky or tight. Breathing here. Let's put a bend in that front knee, stabilizing the base, inhaling to rise. Let's spin onto the ball of that back foot, bringing the hands to heart center again. We'll take off on the exhale. Finding warrior three. Inhale, step that foot back, high lunge. Exhale, float the palms, sweep it back and move through a flow. And from here, let's inhale, look forward, making our way to the top of the mat. And exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we'll reach to rise. And then we'll exhale, sinking into chair, Utkatasana. So really making sure here that, again, just like in our Tadasana, the feet are no more than hip width apart. They can be touching as well. We want to tuck that tailbone anteriorly so that the spine is straight again. We sink in as much as we can here. Maybe lifting the hands, maybe bringing them to heart. See if you can lift the toes and set them back on the mat. From here, let's come onto the toes, lifting the heels, setting them back down. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, set them down. Maybe sink a little deeper. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, fold. Inhaling for your half lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands. Step or hop back. Moving through a flow. Meeting in down dog. Let's just do that again. We'll inhale, look forward, hopping or stepping. And fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, sink into that chair again. Maybe sink a little deeper. This time we'll bring the hands to heart center and we'll see if we can lower. Center squat. Let's inhale, rise a couple inches and hold. Inhale, rise. Try to stay on the balls of the feet if possible. Inhale, rise. Inhale, rise a little more. Inhale, straighten the legs, lift the arms, come back onto the heels. Exhale, fold. Inhaling, half lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands. Step it back and move through vinyasa. From here, we're gonna do a prep for crow, Bakasana. So let's inhale, looking forward at the hands, hopping or stepping to the outside of the mat. So our feet are pointing in opposite directions away from us, making sure the knees are tracking in the same direction. Malasana squat. So from the front, it looks like this. You can use the elbows to add some gentle pressure to the knees here. Keeping the hands at heart center. If you have a problem with the chest falling in, you can lift the thumbs to the third eye and that'll help keep the chest lifted. We just want to make sure that those knees are still over the ankles here. I have a hard time in this pose because I have long legs and a short torso. So it's hard to not feel like my knees are up by my ears and I feel like I can't get my chest lifted very high. So depending on your proportions, this might be easier or harder. Now to prep for crow or Bakasana, we're gonna come from our Malasana squat, grounding the fingertips into the mat in front of you since you're at the top of your mat now. Inhaling to lift the hips. Heel toeing the feet in. I like to bring my big toes together and my heels splaying out, if you can see that. We take our hands, just like in our plank, just like in our chaturanga, we're spreading the fingertips wide, middle fingers facing forward. And we bring them in front of the face, shoulder width apart. Just like in chaturanga here. So I'll show you from the side. Fingertips spread wide, about shoulder width apart. A lot of people start crow and their hands are way too close together. Bringing the hands out a little bit, spreading through the fingertips is gonna help you. Bringing those hands right in front of the face. We bend those knees to try to get the knees right into the underarms here. My knees like to go and hook sort of around the outside of my arm here. So we have chaturanga arms here, we're bending the elbows. We lean forward. Now you can stay here, you're not gonna fall. You can prep right here. You can come onto the toes and see how it feels just to bring that weight forward a little bit. Maybe you lift one foot, maybe you lift the other. Now, a couple things that are gonna help you in this pose. Bringing the head forward. A lot of people stare at their hands when they're doing crow. You don't wanna stare at your hands, you wanna stare probably about a foot in front of you on the mat. That offsets the balance and keeps you from falling forward. Engaging your core and engaging the muscles of the pelvic floor are also going to help you. A lot of people think that this all has to do with the strength of your arms, and it doesn't. You need to use the core to hold yourself up so you're not dumping dead weight into the arms. And eventually, you'll build up strength, and in the practice of this pose, and you'll be able to jump back from here to chaturanga. So I'll show you my crow again one more time. Look at my head, look at my hands, look at my feet, look where everything is. Now I just landed my jump back not too long ago, so it's not perfect yet. But our jump back, when we jump back from crow to chaturanga, again, making sure that those elbows are bent. Mine are I land very close to the mat when I jump back from crow. With time, you'll build the strength to land more in the middle ground, but always making sure to land with those bent elbows. Using the exhale, just like when you're jumping back from a forward fold, using the exhale to jump you back. So I'll show you one more time and then we'll do some seated postures here. Now let's just take it to a child's pose. Coming back to your breath if you were working on crow. Allowing the breath and the heart rate to return to normal. And we'll inhale, coming up onto the hands and knees for some cat-cows here. Making sure to stack the joints, inhaling for your cow, and exhaling for cat. After your last round, finding a neutral spine, setting the hips off to one side, finding Paschimottanasana or seated forward fold. So just like in our regular forward fold, we're flexing through the feet, we're engaging the muscles of the legs and hinging forward at the hip. Trying to keep a flat back. Maybe inhaling, finding a little length in the spine, exhaling, seeing if you can fold a little deeper. Inhaling, finding length, exhaling, fold. Inhaling, finding length, exhaling to fold. Inhale, we'll rise back up. And let's find Baddha Konasana here. Bringing the soles of the feet to touch. Trying to send the knees to the mat as much as you can. Not everybody's hips are created evenly, so this might be impossible for you to get the knees to the mat. Finding our length as we inhale, lifting through the spine, exhaling, hinging forward. Now, depending on how far away your heels are from your midline, you might not be able to fold very far. If my heels are closer to my body and I can't fold, if I bring them further away, I have enough space here to fold in. So just finding what works for you, finding what you want to stretch. If you want to stretch the hips, you might not want to come forward as far. This might be enough, getting that stretch there. If you want to stretch the back a little more, I would say getting lower might help you, or stretching the inner thighs more as opposed to the hip flexors. And then we'll send the left leg long, bringing the right sole of the foot on the inside of the leg, inhaling, finding that length, exhale, fold. And maybe again here, we can inhale, lengthening through the spine, exhale, fold. Inhaling to come up, switching the cross of the legs. Inhaling, finding your length, exhaling to fold. We'll inhale, coming back up. Bringing the soles of the feet together, let's just recline back on the mat. Set up for your Shavasana here. So allowing the feet to splay out towards the bottom corners of the mat. Lying down here, rolling the shoulders down the back, allowing the palms to face up beside you. And take a few moments here after this video ends, put on some music. And I recommend taking 5 to 10 minutes here just to focus on the breath and come to your final relaxation in Shavasana. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. I wish happiness and freedom to all living things. And may the words, thoughts, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to happiness and freedom for all. Friends, thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.